Hi guys, and welcome to another video lesson. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Songo. So the Songo is an Afro-Cuban rhythm. Now Afro-Cuban rhythms often get lumped in with Latin music. Latin music is a term we use to describe pretty much anything from South America. Afro-Cuban music is a massive, diverse style genre of music in its own right, as is South American and Latin music. If you hear me bouncing between those two terms, I'm apologizing now in advance. I'll probably just stick with Latin music, which is what we normally say for any music which comes out of South America that we play on the drum kit. It's quite a narrow definition for something massively diverse. So I don't want to do that genre and that amazing culture a disservice, but Latin music is what we're talking about today. That's an awful lot of rambling already, and we haven't even started the lesson. So the Songo is an Afro-Cuban rhythm, which often gets referred to as a Latin pattern. See, I could have done that so much quicker. The Songo is one of the few Latin rhythms, I think I might be right in saying it's the only, I have to check that, but I think it's one of the few, definitely, if not the only rhythm that was written with the drum kit in mind. Most of the Latin and world music that we play on the drum set wasn't written for the drum set. For example, a samba is played by lots and lots of instruments in a samba band, a big ensemble. And we as drummers have tried to play that on our own multi-voice instrument using the four limbs that we have available to us. The Songo is actually a linear pattern, so there's only one thing going on at a time, which for a Latin pattern is very, very rare. You often get an awful lot going on between hands and feet and notes overlapping. The Songo is one of the few exceptions where that doesn't happen. When it comes to looking at Latin rhythms, there's lots of different ways of breaking them down or approaching them to master them on the drum set. A common approach that I see a lot is breaking them down in terms of limbs, so either a combination of one limb and one foot, and then looking at the other limb and foot, or just the hands and just the foot pattern on their own, and then putting those together. And that's absolutely fine, and we're going to do that first with the Songo today. But as I've said, the Songo was written with the drum kit in mind. So once we've tried the more traditional, if you like, approach to learning Latin rhythms, we're going to look at a drum set approach. We're going to just take the whole thing and break it into two halves, which is normally how we tackle new grooves and new fills when we're looking at them on the drum set. I must admit, my first reaction when I came across my very first Latin rhythm, my first approach was blind panic. Are you kidding me? There's 30 guys over there playing a samba and you want me to try and do it with just two arms and two legs. Are you nuts? So I'm going to try and avoid that approach. That was my first approach to Latin music. We want to try and avoid that. I want to try and save you from that. And to be honest with you, I didn't come across the Songo for a long time. My first experience of world and Latin music wasn't the Songo. And I think it would have been a little less scary if it had have been. Because as I've said, the Songo is a drum kit based pattern. Right, I have rambled on enough. Let's break the Songo down and see what we're dealing with. So we're going to start with the right hand and the right foot patterns for the Songo. The right hand is actually just playing crotchets, 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing more complicated than that. So we're going to play them on the bell of the ride today. We really want them to stand out. So we're going to go for the bell of the ride cymbal for 1, 2, 3 and 4. The right foot is playing 1 and then 2 and then that repeats for the second half of the bar, 3 and 4 and. If I play the rhythm just on the snare, between your right hand and right foot, you'd have this, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. So I'm going to play that for you now at 70 beats per minute, round and round. Again, as with any new groove, any new fill, you do not have to start at this tempo. If you need to pause the video at any point in this lesson and work up to 70, that's fine. Come and join in with me when you're ready. Okay, so now we're going to take the bass drum out and we're going to look at what happens when you combine both hands together. We're not going to use the left foot in today's Songo pattern. There is an option for that and I will talk about that later. For now, we're just going to leave the left foot out of this. So the pattern between the right and left hand isn't as straightforward as it is between the right hand and the right foot. It isn't a half bar pattern round and round, it's a 4-beat pattern. This is how it goes. We've got 1 and 2 E, 3 E and 4 E, I'll do that again. 1 and 2 E, 3 E and 4 E, Now you'll notice that I'm leading with my right hand every time. The reason for that is because we're going to be playing it on the cymbal. So we're going to be going right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. That's a lot of lefts. Left is turn that round and swap it over. You know the drill by now. I'm right-handed. I tend to forget the left-handed stickings. I apologize. So here we go, 70 beats per minute, ride bell, snare drum. Let's go. Okay, so let's put that together at 70 beats per minute. Okay, so that's what I would call the more traditional way of looking at a Latin rhythm, breaking it down into different hand and foot parts, different component rhythms, and then putting them all together. If you were able to do that, if that made sense to you and you were able to get the complete Songo going, brilliant, that's great. And next time you look at a Latin rhythm, maybe try that approach when you break that one down. Absolutely fine. For me, I find that quite tricky and quite confusing. Now, this isn't a criticism of that method. Everyone is different. We're trying to find the best, quickest, easiest way to make sense of whatever it is we're trying to play. And that will be different for everybody, and that's fine. For me, I break Latin rhythms down in what I suppose you would call a more drummer way. I don't know, it's not a traditional way. We need another word. It's certainly not necessarily a modern way. It's a different way. Let's use that word. I like to break them down in a different way. I take the rhythm as a whole and then break it in half. Sometimes I need to break it into smaller sections, quarters or even eighths, but I'm playing the whole thing in bits and then putting those bits back together. So, using that method for the Songo, we're going to try the first half of the rhythm. So we've got one and a, if you combine the two hands and the foot, and then we've got two e a, not one again. So one and a, two e a. The first half of the Songo completed using all three limbs. Here it comes at 70 beats per minute. Now let's look at the second half. So if you put all of the bits together, the ride, the snare and the bass drum, you actually get 3 e-ander, 4 e-ander. So rhythmically, not too bad. It's just getting that movement between the hands and the feet that's the tricky part. I'll rest beats 1 and 2 and play the second half for you now. And now we put those two halves together and complete the Songo rhythm. There are tons of different ways you can use the Songo rhythm. You saw me at the beginning of this video playing it in a number of different ways. We've been doing it on the ride bell. Of course, you can play it on the ride as well if you don't want to use the bell. You can also play this on the hi-hat because we're not using the left foot. We're not pedaling the hi-hat in any way in this rhythm, which, as I've said, is quite rare for a Latin rhythm. You can bring it over to the hi-hat. Pause the video now and experiment with moving the Songo pattern around. I'm not going to give you any examples myself. You know how to do this by now. Try playing it on the ride, try playing it on the hi-hat, try combining the two, reorchestrating in whichever way you like. What happens if you stick the right hand on a tom? The floor tom, for example. You know the drill, as I've said. Experiment, have some fun, see what you can come up with, and then come back and join me to finish off the lesson. Right, little variation that I've stolen from Mike Johnson. Those of you that have been having lessons with me for a while now will know that I steal an awful lot of stuff from that guy. He's a hero of mine, phenomenal drummer, well worth checking out. I saw him do this. I don't know whether this is his idea specifically or he's borrowed this from someone else. I'm sure other drummers have come up with this idea. We're going to put a 5-stroke roll into the pattern. Or more specifically, we're going to put 4 30-second notes at the end of the pattern. Right, right, left, left, which means when we come back round to the start of the pattern and play right again, technically we've played a 5-stroke roll. Right, right, left, left, right. So you can either think of it as a 5-stroke roll going over the end and back round to the beginning of the pattern, or you can think of it as just 4 30-second notes tacked onto the end. Again, as I've said, lots of different ways to understand and learn the same thing. We've played double strokes before, we've played 5 strokes before, so I'm not going to break this down. We're just going to jump straight in and play the whole pattern at 70 beats per minute. Finally, let's try that in a 3-1 resolve. So we'll play the Songo as we've learned it today for 3 bars and then throw those 30-second notes in at the end. So that's it, a really quick look at the Songo. As I've said, this is one of my favourite Latin rhythms, probably because it's drum set based. It was designed with the drum kit in mind. Experiment, have some fun with it, see what you can come up with. How can you apply this to your playing? You may join a Latin band or a world music ensemble. Great, in which case this is one of the rhythms that you'll definitely need. Or, more likely, you might want to try and find a way of using this in your existing playing scenarios, be it a band or along with music. You could play it as a groove, as a funky kind of linear pattern, or you could play it as a fill or a groove variation. As I've said, it's the most Western drum kit friendly Latin rhythm. There are so many options. I will stop talking, you can go away and work them out. Have some fun, see what you can come up with. So that's it for today's lesson, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, please feel free to get in touch. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy your drumming, guys.